Our topic today is, where's our glorious sci-fi future?
We're living in it, dude.
Okay, yes, but I'm talking, you remember let's take Back to the Future
flying
for instance.
cars, things like that, right?
Let's take Back to the Future for instance. We were supposed to be living in like this ultimate technology society with flying cars.
You know what they didn't have in that society? They didn't have, and I don't have it with me right now, a tiny pocket-sized device that will contact a satellite at my whim to give me pictures of cats.
True, but then...
Kind of a big deal.
But when you go back and you look at all the things that, like Jules Verne and all these people like in the 50s, they had this glorious future where we were traveling in space and everything was utopian, and I feel like we're just kind of stuck in this rut.
I disagree with you there. Right now we're actually, and this is why it's fun to watch this, because we're just, all right, I disagree with you there. We are going through actually one of the most interesting times in interstellar research right now. In the 90s.
How long did it take to get here, though?
In the 90s, they claimed, we're done. You know what? We found everything we're going to find. It's all good. And now there's all these new methods for finding planets, finding potentially more habitable planets. Everybody's getting excited about it. And you know what else? Elon Musk, my baby Elon Musk. Seriously, Elon Musk, call me. Any day, any day. He is setting up a Mars colony for me and Elon, and he can invite some friends. I don't care, but as long as me and Elon are on the Mars colony, it's all good. And his 5 children apparently can come along too, whatever. But
that would kind of, you have all of a sudden, you're the Swiss Family Robinson.
On Mars. The point is, there are people that are actually trying for these things. It's just it's not government funded anymore. It's private funded, and that changes the shape of things.
Do you think that's what really needed to happen, was it had to be taken out of the government's hand and put into private funding?
I actually think exactly the opposite. I think that if we were still really funding NASA, we would have at least a moon base or some L5 colonies right now.
See, I completely disagree, because when you look at the history's
NASA
timeline...
gets nothing at this point.
Hold on. When you look at history's timeline, we had great technological advances up until about the 60s, and then it just kind of went...
Okay,
and then
you're going to have... What?
I
The
mean,
60s is when things started to get interesting, dude.
yeah, but it wasn't such giant leaps forward from...
It wasn't giant leaps forward. We got things like microwaves. We got things like satellites.
True.
How is that not a big deal?
But then it just stopped.
What do you mean it just stopped? Did I mention the part about the
Yes.
pocket-held device?
Now we're getting back to that point, but it's like for decades. It was
No, you are wrong. You are wrong, sir.
I'm always wrong in this show,
It's true.
apparently.
It actually is true.
But when
I
I
understand.
think about
I
it,
understand why you think it's not as sexy, because we were promised some really specific things. We were promised the flying cars. We were promised the companion bots. We're not going to get the flying cars. We're going to get self-driving cars. We are going to get the companion bots.
thank you, Google.
Yeah, seriously. Like when you were talking earlier about the whole thing with like the flying cars and that being very dangerous. I really do think that we are 20 years away from not driving our own cars, and I think that's awesome, because I just spent 14 hours driving to Atlanta, which I really would have rather spent reading or sleeping or doing anything other than driving to Atlanta. Drive me there, car. That would be awesome. There'd be fewer wrecks. There'd be a lot. Drunk driving wouldn't be an issue. He's like, "You'll take my steering wheel out of my cold dead hands."
My
aren't you?"
cold dead hands.
And that's the problem, is so many people are ending up with cold dead hands because of drunk driving when you're exhausted, things along those lines. It's going to be a safer world if we just let the cars drive for us.
Which I know Google has that in their little compound, but they won't release it outside of the compound.
Well, they're creeping it up on us, honestly,
Yeah.
a little bit at a time. Like, oh, hey, our car can now back up and parallel park for you. Won't that be great? Oh,
yeah,
and
because
now
I
it
can't
can-
parallel park to save my life.
But see, that's how they're doing it. Instead of saying, we're going to take the wheel away from you, rah, they're like, oh, hey, here's this one more feature, and here's one more feature that you'll like, and in 10 years, it's going to be we don't drive our cars.
See, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, we went from like big TVs to skinny TVs, which is fine, and now we have the 3D TVs, but it just seems, when I'm thinking, from like train to automobile to the industrial revolution.
Did we mention Elon Musk yet? Because Elon
Yeah.
Musk is all about the Hyperloop, and I'm like, yes, I'll ride that Hyperloop around until you get me to Mars, baby.
And so now we're getting this where we're actually getting these nice advancements and these nice, like going to Mars, I think is fantastic. We have a thing on Mars driving around right now, and that absolutely blows my mind. And people are like, whatever. We sent a thing to another planet, we can control it.
Yes.
And it drives around and sends us things, okay? That is
sends us
absolutely
postcards.
amazing. And we have the incoming of the Google Glass, which I'm all excited for, so I can't wait to be able to walk
know,
around and do with stupid stuff with it.
Thank you. We are on the same page for once.
Yes!
Record this day, Internet.
It is absolutely amazing, and I just see more and more of these coming out, like the rocket pack that we talked about at Geek Fest. There's an actual rocket pack. It looks like a giant one from
Yeah.
Men in Black 3, but
So You started
excited
this off
again.
by saying, technology's boring, but you're all really excited right now.
Because it was, when I was a kid, man, I've watched things change, but not change to the point where I think they should have been.
the thing is, they went in different directions. Like when I was a kid, the thing that I honestly thought, I honest to God, believed I'd be living on an L5 space station now. Because if anybody gets to live on an L5 space station, it would be me. The L5 society doesn't even exist anymore. No one's trying to colonize that part of space because the money, you don't even know what I'm talking
I
about.
have no
do you?
idea what you're talking about.
And we're like about the same age. It's basically space station colonies. Like that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there was no reason why we couldn't theoretically get that done, but we just lost the momentum for it. So I understand where you're coming from with the whole, where are these awesome technologies? What we got instead were these very quiet domestic technologies that just sort of snuck up on us.
They sure did sneak up on us.
The internet. One of the amazing things when you talk about like the era of flying cars, nobody predicted the internet. The best they had at that point was some sort of like pneumatic tube system and things like that. The internet is really a revolutionary technology.
I tried to watch the net the other day with the
I'm
dial-up.
sorry.
Oh, no. I was like,
Oh,
man,
my
we have
goodness.
come a long way in the internet.
Yeah.
So all these things are like we had showed a video when we first started the show about the 40-year project for you to be able to put your brain in a robot.
Which, right here, right here.
Yeah.
You don't have to send my flesh body to Mars, Elon. I can go there in whatever shape you like.
Your luck is you'd be the one from like Lost in Space with little arms in front.
I would. Like, we're going to put you in the alpha version of it over here since you're so eager. Yeah.
Yeah, someone's got to test it. So I'm really excited. So what do you want to see in our sci-fi future come to be?
Things that, okay, I actually am down with the L5 colonies and things along those lines. One of the things that I've heard people talk about that I really want to see come to fruition is mining asteroids. There's no reason why we can't do it. A lot of these metals that are like causing horrible problems in Africa because they're very precious and just the conflict diamond level of things, but with metals that go into our cell phones. I'd love to be able to just haul a giant asteroid and like, mine it out. Once it's emptied out, you now have human living space or whatever else we want to do with it for scientific experiments. That would be amazing, and we have the technology to do that right now.
I think I'd be down for the self-driving cars, but not the flying cars. I don't think we need flying cars at all.
You know another one that I'd really like to see us work on? As much as I talk about Mars, before we get there, I'd be down with trying to do some really primitive terraforming. And by primitive terraforming, I mean, let's go grab a really wet rock out there in the asteroid belt, slam it into the surface. What you get at that point is you get some water. You also get particulates in the atmosphere, which will allow you to start actually building up breathable air there, because the atmosphere is so thin.
I'm not sure if you could you do that with an asteroid?
Yeah.
Because they make it look so complicated in all these movies.
I mean, the thing is, it's the type of technology that would completely destroy an actual living planet, but could help reboot one like Mars.
So we'd just go mass genocide. Hey, we have
So
a
all
caller.
the bacteria, sure. Oh, hello, caller.
Well, then we'll make sure we can hear the caller.
Hello?
We can't hear the caller out here. You got to put him up.
Hello?
Hello, caller. Tell us more about your exciting plans to.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
I can't hear you.
Talk.
Okay, here's my comment about the future.
Okay.
There's 3 Family Guys, and Futurama is now gone,
Yeah.
and that makes me sad.
I didn't hear what the third one was. Family
For our
Guy,
promised
Futurama,
future.
And
Well, Family Guy alone needs to go away.
yeah, I'm not.
Just the
actually-
Futurama's gone, and there's 3 Family Guys, and that holds bad for the future of fun animation.
Tubes and the suicide booths.
Yeah.
I think I'd be totally down playing a suicide booth.
Just a second. Apparently, we're trying to get the caller back again. I am sorry.
I'm
Sorry,
still
caller.
here.
The speaker decided it wanted to pop on us and not do much.
Call back next episode. We really do want to talk to you. I
I'm
apologize.
listening to you through the TV because the phone connection is not working.
Well, while they're working on that, I've
Okay.
got to say there is in fact.
Just hold on,
So
caller.
I'm on a bit of a
third-shaped
space
hole in
delay.
my heart after Futurama's death.
Yeah. I think the other fun thing
This is
about
fun
the
in
future that
future.
I'd like to see is definitely robots.
Oh yeah, one of the things that there's a great book that I read called Love and Sex with Robots that really and you're looking at me with that wonderful look of horror that only you can get. That
Love
and Sex with Robots. That genuinely predicts that within about 70 years, we'll be able to build some basically. Not just sex bots, but like bots with personality.
Well,
and
we all
whatnot
know that
people are going
porn
to want.
just dictates the technology anyway, so it may as well be.
The interesting thing about it is if you follow some of the technology, because earlier when you were talking about AI, I really wanted to jump in like, no, let him finish his list. the really interesting AI experiments right now where they're trying to make one as intelligent as a human, the problem with it is they're not super logical. The only way to get the level of complex thought that we have is to make them kind of crazy, and it slows down their processing power because they're trying to do more things. So the point is, if we can get
Then
to
they
the
will
point where
surely eat us.
we have a robot that is as intelligent as a human, it will also be as dumb as a human.
Did you read the article about the robot in Japan that fell in love with all the ladies and was trying to not let him get out of the building?
No.
Oh my! It's like they gave it a personality, and it started developing attractions toward the females. And like it would go in front of the door to try to not let him leave, like stalker robot.
Well, I wouldn't say stalker robot. I would say 2 to 4 year old robot because they're
Yeah.
starting with those very primitive early emotions and trying to build their way up. And the real key to human intelligence is not our ability to process facts very quickly. And that's what they're finding with artificial intelligence as well. That if you're trying to mimic what we can do, you're going to have the drawbacks as well, which is like, I don't know, math, something with accountant.
Yeah, I mean, I was like,
Robots will need computers to help them with math, is what I'm saying.
they are computers.
The AI part will actually need a dumb machine that can just do addition, subtraction, et cetera, to help them.
Like a Mac? So we're pretty good. So that's it for this edition of Fanservice. Thanks for calling. Sorry, caller, for not being able to get to you in time.
But call us back again. We will get these problems fixed. We want to talk to you.
Next week, Geek Sports. How can we do it in real life? Things like F-Zero, Quidditch was already done, some other things, and of course, Chris Rachel will be gone for whatever. And Adventures in LARPing. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks for tuning in.